I was the first non-Jewish, non-New Yorker addition to the family, and I came with a variety of exoticisms. My family attended church, and not just on holidays. I was this tall. My father climbed on a ladder sometimes. And as a child, I had boiled dozens of eggs just to decorate in homage to an imaginary bunny, turning none of them into egg salad. My mother-in-law Hope accepted all of these differences with grace, if also a bit of amusement. She's not religious in any way, didn't seem overly concerned about whether future grandchildren would be b'nai mitzvah, as long as we also didn't do anything drastic like baptize them, which was 100% fine with my husband Lee and my agnostic self. But if there was one thing that had the potential to undermine our entire relationship, it was food. Not the kind of food. It's not that she keeps kosher, unless you count a strong preference for Nathan's kosher style frankfurters. And as someone who grew up with lutefisk, I wasn't disgusted by gefilte fish. It was more the sheer volume and the constancy of eating that surprised me. The first time I came for dinner, she made chicken rolled with breadcrumbs, or chicken rollatini, and also pork chops with something called Saucy Susan, and also meatloaf, and also shrimp, Thai pasta. And just to answer to the 4 food groups, she also had a side of spare ribs left over from a Chinese takeout. There were 5 of us at dinner that night. I had grown up with a more proportional approach to dinner. My mom calculated the number of people who would be eating, their caloric needs and appetites, and planned accordingly. If 4 of us would be having steak, she would grill 4 steaks, unless one was especially large. I mean, one of the steaks was especially large. In which case, she'd cook 3 and cut one of them in half. A small baked potato and some green beans might complete the plate. Perhaps a glass of milk to wash it down. In my family, food was merely one of the basic needs, like water, shelter, and snow tires. But for my mother-in-law, lunch sometimes seems like the sun around which everything else orbits. To give you an idea of how important food is to Lee's mom, I went through their texts recently. 70% were related to what each of them had eaten, was currently eating, or planned to eat at some unknown point. Usually there are pictures. I learned early that she would not stop offering until you said yes. Conversations went like this. You're sure you don't want anything? Do you want water? No, thanks, I'm good. Coffee? No, really? Juice? Apple juice? No. Orange? Pineapple? No. Diet root beer? Sure. Fine. Diet root beer would be perfect. Should I toast you a bagel? In darker moments, I thought she might be the witch in the gingerbread house, smearing bagels to fatten me up like insulin. But then she would immediately invite me out to race walk around the neighborhood, or try the ab roller she'd ordered from Home Shopping Network. Hope is the size of an average 5th grader, and yet I swear I have seen her eat 30,000 calories in a single day. To make things worse, I was picky. I didn't like mustard, mushrooms, lox, rye bread, horseradish, the aforementioned meatloaf, most salad dressings, pocket seeds, coconut, or shrimp, the last of which was unfathomable to her. I frequently found myself on the spot. She kept offering, and I kept politely refusing. Until one day I saw it, the way the big round coffee table was always filled with hors d'oeuvres, even when no one was coming over. How she drive to 2 different Chinese restaurants for takeout because Lee liked sesame noodles from Foo's Rush Inn, and his stepdad wanted orange beef from Hop 2. The way she noticed that I liked the dark chocolate pretzels from the place by her house, and then proceeded to barrage me with dark chocolate pretzels from the place by her house for years. And I started that she's obsessed with food. That is unequivocally true. It's that she's obsessed with sharing food. It's the savoriness of abundance she loves, and the sweetness of taking care of people, and the saltiness of quoting Morning Joe at each other, and whatever umami might be in this metaphor. She credits herself with me eating shrimp now, and I can't argue with her. She is really impossible to argue with. But she's right, shrimp are delicious. Last time they visited, we went to the food hall at Malcolm Yards. It's peak Grandma Hope. Everyone could get everything they wanted and more, and we could try it all. We did. We tested and tasted and considered and pronounced judgment until everyone was completely stuffed. And then she assessed the remains and saw that there was 1/8 of a BB Zito burger still on the tray, slidey and smooshed in a soggy mess. Hope picked up this fistful of burger glop in her hand and offered it to each of us in turn. A disgusting and lovely gesture, I thought. And I ate it. For some mothers, food is a love language. For Hope, force feeding is a love language. That and kissing family full on the mouth. And that's how I know she loves me as much as she could love a person who isn't her sonny. It's just that her form of mothering isn't mine. Or is it? As I write this story, my daughter is at the airport in Montreal, on her way home from her first year of college. I've been to the grocery store twice today. I've stocked the fridge with everything I've ever seen her eat. Her father's baking her a loaf of banana bread. And just now, I received a text from her with a picture of her boarding pass and a message that said, "Did you seriously pre-purchase a meal for a 2-hour flight?"